Hello, everyone. This is Kaylan, editor-in-chief of the African American in Africa website, where we share the experiences of African Americans living all around the African continent. Welcome to another episode of my podcast. On today's episode, you will get to hear my interview with Akosua Boateng. She is an African American woman who's been living in Ghana for the last 16 years. And in November of 2019, she was one of the 126 African diasporans to be granted Ghanaian citizenship as part of Ghana's 2019 Year of Return celebrations. Now, I first interviewed Akosua in 2016 for my website about her life as an African-American educator living and working in Ghana. So when I found out that she was one of the 126 diasporans to be granted citizenship last year, I had to do a follow-up interview with her. In today's interview, you are going to hear her firsthand account of being granted Ghanaian citizenship, from her application process all the way up to her swearing-in ceremony at the Jubilee House in Ghana. So without further ado, let's get into the interview. Akosua, thank you so much for your time. I really, just for being willing to interview with me about this phenomenal experience that I'm sure you're still on a high from.
Definitely, I'm on a high. It's a little surreal.
So remind me, how long have you been in Ghana for now?
Okay, I've been on the ground in Ghana for, 2003, for about 16 years, for more than 16 years.
Okay, got it. And how did this opportunity even come about for you, at least? How did it reach you?
If I can just ask a clarifying question, the opportunity for citizenship or the opportunity just to come to Ghana?
The opportunity for citizenship.
There is an organization in Ghana called the Ministry of the Future, and they are the organ that was responsible for 34 African Americans becoming citizens 3 years ago under President John Mahama. And they submitted my application along with 252 other applications.
Wow.
And of the 252 applications, the first batch to be sworn in was the 126 that were recently celebrated on November 27th. They are feverishly working to ensure that the remaining applications that were approved by the president also have an opportunity to be sworn in.
I see.
Yes.
So this was not the first time that Ghana has awarded or given citizenship to African diasporans. There was another time 3 years ago.
Well, so according to history, there have been several times. For an example, W.E.B. Du Bois was made a citizen of Ghana by executive order of the president. And Ghana has Ghana immigration has a normal process to integrate foreigners to become nationalized. However, this 34 diasporans and our group, 126 diasporans that were recently sworn in, is the first attempt by the government of Ghana to atone for the Holocaust that happened here in Ghana, West Africa, and to be the first country to recognize that there is a reintegration of diasporans that need to occur in an official way. That's the best way for me to explain it.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. And when you put in your application, how long ago was that?
I submitted my application over 2 years ago. I think
Wow.
it was
Okay.
I, somewhere in 2017.
Okay. Got it. I see.
And some others submitted their application way before that time. But during
I
the time, Ministry of the Future was um, receiving applications. It was like a window that they opened to receive applications. And I'm pretty sure I was one of the few, I was on the tail end of it, just trying to meet their deadlines.
I see. I see. And what was that application like? What were there like? Was it like a questionnaire? Like what were they asking in the application?
Thank you. So basically, the questionnaire, it was an application that consisted of basic information about who you are, your personal details, details about your family members, details about how, when I say details, questions about how long you've been in Ghana, what are some of the achievements that you've been able to accomplish as a result of being in Ghana? How much money have you contributed in the Ghanaian community in the country of Ghana? What type of work you do in Ghana? And this was a 2-page application that captured basic information about who you are, what you do, and how long have you been here on the ground. And you had to accompany that with your passport or with accompanying ID.
Hmm.
And that was it.
Okay, I see. And so fast forward to 2019, when you found out, how were you notified in terms of your appoint your getting awarded this opportunity? How were you notified?
First, we were notified by her name. So the Ministry of the Future is founded by um, a group of diasporans, but the leader is Dr. Malana and Mrs. Millie Tucker. And for the
Hmm.
most part, they've been a two-man team leadership that have, they work 24 hours around the clock trying to push this envelope of citizenship forward.
Wow, bless
Push
them.
the agenda. Yes. To the
Yeah.
point that they've been hospitalized, they've been they've it's almost like they have the battle scars to show for it. But
Mm.
contacted by Mrs. Tucker, who informed me that interviews were going to begin for those for those diasporans who submitted their application with Ministry of the Future. And so from there, we set up interviews. We were interviewed by almost like a 9 to 11. I don't remember how many people were there, but it was a different governmental agencies that have come together as a committee to interview. And the leading government organ is they have a ministry of African diaspora affairs.
Wow.
And so through
Beautiful.
that Ministry of African Diaspora Affairs, I hope
Hmm.
I have that right.
Hmm.
They liaise with Ministry of the Future, and they were able to organize the different 8 governmental agencies, and they conducted interviews and so I attended, they gave me an interview date. I attended the interview, and that was it. And
Hmm.
so a perhaps about a month after I attended the interview, about, let me see, August, September, October, about 2.5, 3 months after the interviews, I was contacted by the same Miss Millie Tucker of the Ministry of the Future, and she informed me that my application had been approved. And so I was very emotional and I just was like really quiet. I didn't really tell anybody. I just, kept praying that everything would happen. And so after it was approved, everything was like standby for more information.
Right.
Because as we're in Ghana, the how the swearing in ceremony and everything would work is based on the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They have to organize what their process will be to swear us. So we were just on standby, and then we finally received the dates of when we would be sworn in, which is Wednesday, November 27th. And they gave us some instructions to follow in terms of like protocol. And it was an amazing ceremony.
And if I can just go back a little bit, in those 2 years between when you submitted your application and when you got called for interviews, were you nervous? Were you confident? Like, how are you feeling in that waiting period, during that waiting period?
I was confident in the leadership. So
Right.
I think I was nervous and a bit anxious. I was very 100% confident in the leadership. So this is an organization that they had already chartered the way for the first 34 diasporans that were granted citizenship. And they were very, their communications were frequent. Many people were like, so what's going on? Is there any update? And they created like this platform for an update. And they were very honest. They were very timely. Miss Millie would, with people, as people became more and more anxious, they would reassure us that they're just waiting to hear from the government.
And I mean, I don't know if this can be shared or not, but and if you don't feel comfortable sharing it, that's okay. But your interview, what was that like?
I feel comfortable sharing it. It was really a very relaxed conversation of a questions that just asked me, what's my name? Where do I live? What do I do? And for me, it just so happened that where I live in Ghana is like a little popular place. I can remember one of the jokes they asked me who was the son of Agogo, which is the name of the town that I live in. And it is a very famous musician called Amachi Dede. So I just wanted, I was just like, I know you guys are not asking me, like, do I really live in Agogo by asking me who's the son? And I said, well, it's Amachi Dede, of course. But then I told them, but we have 5 other well-noted musicians. So we have many children from Agogo that are equally, that are, that are very good musicians. So I just started naming them all in my very boastful way. We have a 40-point method just to let them know, like, I'm not passing through them. I'm a part of this community.
That's right. Definitely. Exactly.
But
Okay.
that was, I think it was while I was nervous, it was very relaxful. They just asked common questions that we should have the answers to.
Exactly. Definitely. I could see that being exactly. And I like that format, because it's very, in a way, validating, to see, like, I mean, if they ask you questions about culture and things like that, and, if you've been there that long, you would know, like, so, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm just sending you the official name of the office. I think I messed it up. It is called the Diaspora Affairs Office of the President.
Okay,
that
got
was
it.
the official name of the organization that was responsible for overseeing, not overseeing, but facilitating a process.
Okay, got it. Thank you for that. Okay. And so back to you getting the news that your application had been approved, if I could call it that. You said you were, it was still a bit surreal and you just kept it to yourself. But then there came the day for the swearing in. Tell me about the atmosphere that day and just what that day entailed. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I didn't hear you. You said tell you about the atmosphere.
Yeah. I just moving back forward to when you to the swearing in day. What was the atmosphere like that day, and what activities did the swearing in ceremony that day, or was it a weekend? What or a few days? What did it entail?
Okay, so from when I found out I was going to be sworn in, like the actual date, I think I cried. I was very emotional and
Mm,
I was trying to get myself together. At that point, I think I shared the information with like my best friend in
mhm,
Massachusetts. I was like,
mhm.
Shimon, and she's from Jamaica. So it's kind of like, it was kind of nice sharing it with her because the
Yeah.
information is coming on the heels of um, the government, um, the government extending Jamaicans the right to visit Ghana without the use of a visa. So at
Right.
that time, he could do something that I couldn't even do.
Right.
Um, so for me, it was just sharing the information with Shimon, and she was like equally happy because she knew what this meant for me because she's been watching me over 16 years go back and forth, and she's been
Hmm.
like very supportive in like everything. So she was like the only person I told,
Right.
and then it became organizing what to wear because there was, what do I wear? So I got some nice outfit. I went and picked a nice cloth because I wanted something special. And then after I bought the cloth, they came and said, well, it'd be befitting if we wore white. And
Mm.
so I had the
Hmm.
perfect, by this time my outfit was made. So
Hmm.
then I had to scramble, and I was like, do I have to get an individual? Should I, be the individual
Right.
that I am and just, do me? And then I
Yeah.
said, what? It's not about me. This is about
Right.
our people. This is about
Yeah.
unity.
Mhm.
This
Our
is about me.
ancestors.
Yes.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I went and rushed with the help of my sister Amma, and she created the style. She created me a very nice like outfit,
Hmm.
and it was white. And this particular day, I had already taken it off of work from the day I found out that I was going to get sworn in. I told my HR that I would not be here because that's one of the days we go into executive session. I was like, nope, I won't be here. But I didn't really tell anybody. I was just like, I'm not going to be here the whole day, which is
Right.
the first day I've missed that work, right?
Wow.
So, yeah, so they're not used to me saying, oh, I'm not going to be around the entire day. Usually, if I miss the morning, I come in the evening, something like
Hmm.
that. So, um, that day was about getting my hair done, and I was having anxiety because my regular stylist was going somewhere, and I had all these designs of how I wanted my hair on this special day.
Hmm.
I almost fell apart because none of that happened, and I
Mm.
ended up at a regular market getting my hair done by a stranger who I didn't really like the hairstyle, but in the end, I appreciate it because it was a rather conservative hairstyle. Probably if I would have done my hair, it would have been all over the place, just like Medusa's hair or something like that. But
Right. Right.
I had a very conservative hairstyle with very
Hmm.
conservative dress.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
it is not what I imagined that I would be wearing on my swearing in day. So you
Mm.
asked
Hmm.
what was that environment like? Those are the things that I was caught up with
Hmm.
mentally is the preparation and what would I wear? How would I make it memorable? Would I get a journal? How can I take pictures? We
Hmm.
knew with the swearing in date, they gave us a set of instructions, and one was we
Okay.
could not bring our cameras. That they would have um, photographers there. So of course,
Wow.
I was not happy with that. because you know, in my mind, I was going to do Facebook Live. It's not like I ever thought about like, how you going to do Facebook Live at the Jubilee House? I would, because if it was the White House, I would naturally know was Facebook Live was not about to happen, right?
Right.
So when we got to Jubilee House, they had all these like firewalls, so you couldn't go Facebook Live. So then I just did some quick video on that day, and I think around now it has like 4 million hits. I had no idea it was gonna go viral like it did, and I was just like excited. Just let me capture this video because I was about to turn my phone into the security. So this was like my last time I would be able to take like any footage. So that's what I was caught up in. There was a part of me that was really emotional. I really wish my son could have been here to just like share the moment with me, but I knew what I was about to partake in was on behalf of my my entire family, both
that's right,
both my father's side and my mother's side, and it was monumental. So I was like in prayer and constant communication with my ancestors, like in a real dialogue with like, so mommy, I'm here. What do you think I should do? Is my hair looking okay? Like just in this zone of communicating with my grandmother, my aunties, everybody that had transitioned. And I would cry, and then I was like, okay, you cannot be up in this place crying with your eyes all. I didn't want any camera to zoom on me crying. So I went to the bathroom, I cried, and I tried to get myself together, wash my face. Then we were standing outside in the hallway. They ushered us. So we went through the security procedures, which were very smooth. They had our name. We were only allowed to have one guest, which was very controversial because people felt they should have been able to invite, you know, and share this moment with their whole family. But we only invited one guest. And so they had us waiting in a line outside. So they asked me what my number was, which they gave us when we came in. They said, remember your number. I said, okay. And they said, okay. So we were outside, and when I went inside, like I was a little late because of traffic. Oh, I had an Uber nightmare. I had ordered an Uber because I didn't want to drive, because I didn't want to be worried about parking.
Right.
Oh, the Uber showed up late. And then you know how when you catch an Uber, they're supposed to say start trip.
Yeah.
This Uber didn't say start trip for some reason. So, yeah, when the way that we were going, I asked them like, Uber, did you start the trip yet? He didn't answer me. So I asked him a few more questions, and the guy did not talk to me. And I said, oh my goodness, what is this about? So I told him we were bypassing the university that I work at. I told him to let me down, and I got the keys to my car, and I told my friend, I was like, nope, let's go. We're not going to let the devil ruin this. Because if this guy is not talking to us, that means I'm giving him all of the power about me arriving on time to the Jubilee House. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So I switched cars and I drove myself, which I didn't want to drive because I have a manual. And when you're in traffic, a lot of stop and go. And I just said, not today, devil. You're not winning today.
Exactly.
I don't care what form you come in.
Right. You're really trying me right now, but you will not prosper.
Yes. So we got down from the Uber. I got I went through security at my university. I picked up my car and we kept it moving. And then we were arguing. We only went up the street and he said 29 CDs, which was a problem because I said, no, you never said start trip. And I promise you, I went less than 1 kilometer and it was 29 CDs. So I just said, and I told my friend, stop arguing with the Uber. Come get in the car. If anything,
let's just
bill me. They'll bill me.
The time. Right.
Yeah. And so I got in the car, and you know that bill never came. I knew that guy knew what he was wrong. And so we made it to the Jubilee House. And I said that story because when we got there, I was just waiting in the line. So they asked me my number and I walked in. I I never knew there was like already 100 people on the inside, which means I was a little bit late,
Right.
So they said, "What's my number?" And I said 13. They ushered me to the front seat. So I didn't want to sit up front. I was looking for some empty seats in the back, but the place was so dense. Then I have anxiety because my blouse was like low. I was going through like women's stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I thought it was too much cleavage to be sitting up front, and I kept my flag. There was a flag on the seat and a sheet of paper, and I kept the flag in front of my where my bosom was open. Because I was just like, oh Lord, these people, and I kept adjusting and pulling up my little tank top on the
I know. I've had those kind of days.
So that's when I was occupied with. I was like, oh Lord, the TV gonna catch me with my chest all out. Really, I wanted to make sure that my Ghanaian family would say Akustia has done well, because when you're a middle-aged woman, dress is still very important. And at the stage I'm in, like in the circles and the levels that I'm in, that they voice that out. Like if you're wearing something inappropriate, it's nothing for someone to correct you. And I was very conscientious about that because I didn't want to leave there and people be asking me, "What the heck did you have on?" So I was occupied with that. I was sitting next to a queen mother who happens to be from Atlanta, and I had never met her before, but I know her daughter very well. So she was giving me instructions. She said, "Yeah, you got to put the date on the sheet." So I went to put the date on the sheet, and then I just put it back. So it did not dawn on me that this was my seat. From when I walked, I just thought they were seating me because it was an empty seat. And again, I was trying to look for a spot in the back. So then throughout the ceremony, I think I had to ask Nana another question. And she said, "No, your name is on it." And I looked at my name and I started crying again, because that's when I knew this seat is for me. This is my number. This seat is for me. This is where I'm supposed to be sitting, right here in the front.
That's amazing.
Yeah, people ask me, what connections do you have? I said, connections? Right. I was like, if these people know what I've been through today, we went through the Uber madness, I got a wardrobe dysfunction, my hair ain't right, So these are the things that I was dealing with. So the ceremony begins, and it was difficult. I was crying. I kept trying to be very discreet about drying my eyes. You just, and then you just pretend like you got something itching in your eyes so that people can't see you're crying. And then I asked the lady next to me if she had a tissue, and so just make it seem like it's a sweat wipe when it was really like me crying and not trying to just fall out and be boohooing all up in the front row for camera to zoom in on my face. I didn't want that at all.
Yeah.
So the ceremony started. They opened it up with a welcome. They had this nice video that interviewed different diasporans about what it means to have citizenship. They introduced the different dignitaries. I think everyone had a chill when they announced the United States Embassy. The ambassador was in the room. Everybody got that look like, why is the ambassador here at our ceremony? So I think that was like an awkward moment. But me having worked in government, I felt like it was just protocol. But it was obvious nobody clapped, because when they said the ambassador for Cuba, everybody started cheering. So that was like an awkward moment.
Interesting.
The ambassador of America has come to see its citizens become citizens of another country. But then I thought about, this is not a big deal. I went through all of this. I was sitting there thinking about all of this. This is not a big deal, because if this was Israel and people are trying to repatriate to Israel, it would be a big celebration by the American government. So why do we have to feel some kind of way? So once I had my Israel moment and Zion moment, I was good, because I was like, okay, shift your concentration. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
You guys were sworn in. And then, what was the rest of the day like?
Oh, okay. So after we were sworn in, well, let me just say this. I have to give the utmost respect to the president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, because he kept it 100% real.
Nice.
When he made this quote, he said, Peter Tosh has a quote. It doesn't matter where you come from, as long as you're a Black man, you're an African.
And I love that.
And when he,
oh gosh, I love that. Yeah.
Quote, and then he played the song. So it was just like bass and reggae. Like the ceremony in itself was indescribably African. Like it was just bass and reggae. And basically like you could feel Peter Tosh like singing from when he quoted. And there was music throughout. It was nice when we did the Ghana National Anthem, having worked in a school. It was nice. I felt like proud when I can sing all of the words.
Right.
Singing a bit louder than everybody else. God bless our homeland, Ghana. So after that, it turned into a party. So after the swearing in, and I think you saw that from the videos, each person was called to swear in and collect their documents. We took a picture with the president. That was another bonus for me because I was like, wow, I'm sitting next to the president. This is deep.
Amazing.
And when I went swearing in, I wanted to keep it simple. I said, whatever I have to say for the president, I know God willing, I'll get another opportunity.
Yeah.
However, I just held his hand and I held his elbow, which is in Ghana the highest way to say thank you to someone. You take your hand and you cup it underneath the elbow and you shake their hand. And and I said thank you, and I did it that way. And I went and I sat down. Then he took a picture, and there was some small chat. I was still nervous. I was just, if you're sitting next to the president, I was still worried about my little bosom, making sure it's covered. That's why if you see any pictures, you're going to see a flag in front of my chest. I was so nervous about that. And he was walking out, and I guess the biggest moment is he grabbed my cheek, and that was awkward, like almost like I was 5 years old. And I just said, thank you again, Mr. President. And he just grabbed my cheek and kept walking. After that, it turned into a party at the Jubilee House on the lawn. And it was the first time we actually had seen ourselves. Because we know that we exist. We're on platforms. We read about each other. We see each other in different news coverage. But for all of us to be in the room at the same time, it was very, very, very powerful. The president of the Diasporan Coalition in Ghana spoke. His name was Rabbi Kohen, and he's one of the 34 people that received their citizenship. He was such a powerful speaker, and I was very impressed and very proud to be an African American hearing him speak. He spoke with dignity, he spoke with grace, and I was just like right along Malcolm, right along Martin, Rabbi Kohen. The speech he delivered was very impactful. So that was the event. I stayed in, we closed the party. Me and Dr. Dean, who's a chiropractor from Savannah, Georgia. And it was a blessing to meet someone else from Georgia with, let me say, ATL roots. And he lived in another part, Takrady, down on the coast, and I had heard a lot about him, but I was able to just hang out and to find out he had the same birthday as I did. That was like the ending to me. That was the amazing part. So we found out we had the same birthday, and we were the last two diasporans in the building, and we had the same birthday. And I just felt like we were exchanging. I said, well, do you know Muhammad Ali is born on our birthday? Michelle Obama is born on our birthday. We were just exchanging like Eartha Kitt, like all of the great people that were also January 17th born. And it was just amazing to me. Now, here's what's deep. His dad died on that day. That morning, he received a phone call. His dad passed away. Goodness. So he mentioned it casually. He said that his dad had an opportunity to meet him here in Ghana, and that he was just happy. So for me, I felt we were both doing the same thing. We were both in conversation with our parents about them being proud of us returning.
Exactly. That's so wow. That's like gives me chills just to think about. It's very, very interesting. Just how it's almost like the stars had aligned and you guys were just so connected and with everything. It's beautiful.
Okay. Yes.
And
that experience.
Okay, got it. I see. And so how does this make things, how does citizenship make things different for you? You know, what happens from here? How does this change the game for you?
We become fully integrated citizens. So every time we come in and out the country, we pay over $100 for a visa. If you're going to be in the country, you have to pay for a resident permit. If you work in the country, you got to pay for a work permit. All of these credentials happen with expiration dates of which you constantly are renewing. You have to get a non-Ghanaian citizen card, which you are constantly paying. So those things alone are about $2,000 just to make you legitimate. You can't, if you're a foreigner, you can't participate in retail. So say I wanted to sell natural hair products in the market. I couldn't. I have a cousin in Maryland that makes the best shea butter. And why can't I sell it here? You can't do retail if you're a foreigner. And the people are very sensitive about it. You open up that shop, they're going to tear it down. They know their rights. They know what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
In this country, almost 20 years, I've been financing myself. You can't go to the bank and get a loan because you're a foreigner. I do pay taxes, however, but I pay taxes. I pay into the SNP system, but you can't access the full benefits anytime you register. When you register, my NGO is an international NGO because I'm a foreigner. And so it costs more to renew the NGO every year. Your business license, all those things, you are taxed as a foreigner. So for those people with a retirement income based upon what they're doing, it could be difficult. And if you're a young person trying to get on your feet here, it can also be very, very, very difficult. So if I wanted to build a house, I can't go to the bank and get a loan to build a house like regular Ghanaians can.
Right.
You know, even though I've been working here for how many years and I make like pretty good income, you can't access any kind of financial power. And honestly, it's no different than the American system, right? You know, because that American system is equally costly. I will say, after I went through the process, I've taken a leadership role in the MOF. I volunteered to help everyone process their passport. Because this process didn't cost us a lot of money, if any. I think the only money they asked for was like 120 CDs. So that's the equivalent of like $50.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? If we was gonna go through that other way, this thing will cost us over $4,000. When you add it all up, because you have to have your residency for so many years, and you have to have all of the credentials to even apply for residency, like $10,000 process.
Right.
But we paid $50, and I said, no, I have to give back. So I volunteered. And they gave me the job of helping people organize their like now that they're citizens, how do you start the process of getting your credentials? So I was asked to work with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Passport Office, and it's been going smooth. And I'm very happy about being able to help everyone get their passport and demystifying the process.
Exactly. No, that's a great role to be playing in it. You know, just that's creating that link between, you know, both countries. That's nice. I like that.
Thank
Okay.
you.
What has the reaction from Ghanaians been to you since, you know, this whole whirlwind of an event, since the news?
The best reaction I could ever receive.
That's
Many people
nice.
call me because this was broadcasted live. So I don't know if I mentioned that. It was
Mhm.
broadcasted live to the whole of Ghana.
Okay.
And I thought it
Okay.
was beautiful because in this way, it's a very transparent process for everyone.
Right. Right.
Everyone called me, and many of my Ghanaian friends, and they called me to tell me that I look beautiful. They really
Mm.
liked the dress I was wearing. They love my hair,
Mm.
and they're so proud of me. It was everything that I was worried about
Right. Right. Right.
that was going wrong.
Yeah,
They said, and my dress was so beautiful. And I was like, this ugly dress.
it
And
was.
your hair is so beautiful. I hate this hairstyle. So it was like interesting. But
Yeah.
and then I felt like proud because I felt like, okay, I did Ghana proud. I didn't
Yeah.
put myself in a situation that people would find something culturally inappropriate or make myself a debate surrounded by cultural sensitivity. So I was happy about
Right.
that.
Have you changed like employment since the last time or you know, we spoke, which was 3 years ago? Um, are you said you're working at a university now, or were you working at a university then?
Okay, so the last time we spoke 3 years ago, I had two schools.
Right. I remember that.
I closed my schools because my sister got really sick and was diagnosed with cancer, my little sister.
Oh.
We ended up losing that battle.
Hmm.
Um, she died in 2017, October.
Okay.
And when she died, I was the principal of one of the international schools in
Hmm.
Accra.
Hmm.
A very good position, doing what I
Hmm.
love to do and just enjoying, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Then I ended up leaving because she passed away and she left 5 children.
Wow.
So it's like I can't be in Ghana saving everybody else's children on
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
passion mission work, and my own nieces and nephew need me.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I returned to Massachusetts to help stabilize my family.
Hmm.
And I have since returned as the director of admissions at Academic City University College.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
What a
And
fantastic position.
oh, it is. It is. I'm having a blast. They offered it to
Nice.
me before and I couldn't take it. It was interesting.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it was blessed that it actually came back around. And I was like, okay,
Hmm.
this is for me.
Okay.
So I think Africa is just so positive. And I always think
Mhm.
about you in Namibia when I'm in Tanzania. But that
Mhm.
$800 plane ticket is killing people.
Well, wait, when you say you think of me in when you're in Tanzania as in terms of like me visiting or
No, in terms of, I have never been to Namibia, and I know that
oh,
there's a small group of diasporans there. And then there's like Kaylan.
yeah, we are out here. I mean, I'm not in the capital, you know, I'm like 2 hours outside of the capital. Most of us that are here are in the capital, but yeah, Namibia is definitely worth a visit. There's some interesting things happening right now in the news. I'll leave it at that for right now.
Mhm.
But no, yeah, it's definitely, you know, for Southern Africa, it's definitely worth if you want that experience, it's worth a visit. I wanted to know if you had ever done one of those like ancestry or African ancestry DNA tests. Had you ever done any of those tests? You said yes?
No,
Oh no.
no.
Okay. Okay.
But my sister has.
Okay.
And I don't think my results would be too far from my sister's. That's the only
Right.
reason why I haven't. But my sister
Okay.
hasn't she hasn't really shared her information. Because I
Okay.
just keep asking her, are we from Ghana? And she's like our
Mm,
family historian. But we
mhm.
did get one hit from a cousin in Cape Coast. Somehow, through the ancestry, they link you to the people that you could be related to in the United States.
This is Ancestry.com or African Ancestry? Not sure.
I'm not sure. But it links you. You have this family tree, and it links you to the people you're related to, like other people that have taken the test. So we found a second cousin who is from Ghana, from Cape Coast. So my sister is pursuing and in relationships with them. But I think it's going to be amazing, like, once we do the work and it reconfirms that, yes, we are from Ghana. But I already know that because my spirit tells me that. So,
yeah, I know. And I know what you mean. Like, I feel like I have this connection with like Benin, like for some reason, like, and the Gambia also. And I'm just like waiting to take the test so I can just see like what the results say. What do you think this means? You know, when you think of your ancestors, you know, who didn't get to maybe make the trip back, you know, and things like that. What does all of this mean like for them when you think of them?
It just means for me that I have a bigger responsibility to myself, and I try to, you know, when you're from the West, you have a very individualized mentality. It's about, you know, all of the messaging that we're even getting. And I appreciate it. I understand it's coming from taking care of your mental health side. Like, if family's toxic, cut them off. If self-care and to take girl, you don't worry about. No, it's almost anti-African. Because you don't get to cut your family off in Africa because they toxic or they do something wrong. You do get to put in a community of family members to address the problem.
Yeah.
But there is no such thing as cutting a family member off in Africa. Not that I've seen it. Even
that's true.
Criminals, and there is redemption within the culture.
Yeah.
So there is never anything where you get cut off for life. So,
and that's a big problem, like in my family, like especially on my mother's side, it is a big problem. It is
never individualized again.
Yeah.
I also that I do have to take time because I don't have to sell Africa anymore. You know what? I have to mention this. You asked me what changed in those 3 years. Black Panther happened. And it was a game changer. I don't know if you feel it, but I saw Black Panther here in Ghana.
Yeah, well, this is really embarrassing, but if I have to be honest, I still have not seen Black Panther yet. And I want to. I know. You can take away my black card.
No, what can I do? Is it like by choice or just it's not available?
No, it's not by choice. It's not by choice. Exactly. I want to see this movie so bad. It's because I don't live in the capital where they played it. That's the first thing. And then, I hadn't been home in 3 years until I finally visited the U.S. in August of this year. So I hadn't been home for years.
For you. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, so it's not by choice. We were trying to watch it like maybe a month and a half ago. We have this like internet, this thing called Cyberjoy. I don't know if they sell that in Ghana, but it's like this internet device that you hook to your cable TV here, and you can like watch, like you can stream stuff. So we were trying to watch it like maybe like 2 months ago, and then the streaming thing was acting up, so we couldn't even watch it. And I want to watch this movie so bad. Like my best friend is like, Kaylan, like you have to watch the movie. Like it's ridiculous that you haven't seen Black Panther. I'm like, I know. So I think I just need to like order it. Maybe I'll just order it like off Amazon because Amazon ships here now, and then I'll get to see it. Yeah.
The only reason I would tell you should watch it before you write anything else is because you'll understand why it's a game changer and why we're having the year of return and why these things are possible now versus before.
Got it. Okay.
Because the question is, the year of return happened, which is a game changer. Like Ghana But and it's funny because the year of return is actually an extension of a project that they were trying to do in 2007 called the Joseph Project. But the minister in charge of that project passed away, and people loved him, Jacob Abetubi. So the year of the return, now that this government has come into power, is like a continuation of their original Joseph Project, the right to return, which is what they wanted to do. So the fact that what happened in the last 3 years, the year of return happened, where there was a marketing campaign by the government to reach out to Africans in the diaspora to come and visit, at least come and visit the country. And they did make sure that the cultural piece and components were a part of it. So we have returned in the year of the return.
Yes.
And that's major. But you have to see Black Panther, because Black Panther has demystified Africa for future generations.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Kaylan, again. I hope you enjoyed my interview with Akosia. I want to send a special thank you to her because through her reflections, I felt like I was sitting in the front row with her at the Jubilee House in Ghana, and I really got to live vicariously through her shared experience. I also want to thank Akosia for giving me the push I needed to finally see Black Panther, which you'll be happy to know I ended up watching it just a few hours after our interview. As a reminder, if you would like to read more rich reflections and experiences from other African Americans living all around the African continent, be sure to visit my website, African American in Africa, at www.aainafrica.com. You will also find resources and tips there to help you manifest a move to the motherland. You can also follow me closer on Instagram at aainafrica or on YouTube at Afro American in Africa. You'll find links to all that good stuff and more on my website, which again is www.aainafrica.com. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for listening. Till next time.